I am Colin Bedell. I am an astrologer. I started a website called Queer Cosmos in 2017 with the help of my best friend, Christina Shinyimui. And I have been just really dedicated to queering, hence Queer Cosmos, right? Questioning, queering certain ideas and truisms that we accept as universally true. What I love the most about astrology is how it's helped me personally understand my own insight, but then also strengthen my relational intelligence and my relational skills. And I think what we always want to remember is that the quality of our life is determined by the quality of our relationships. And this is not my theory. This has been documented from long form studies at Harvard. Neuroscience confirms this. Every available study puts forward social connection as the sole determiner of our life quality. And if we're not discussing that and providing folks with the theory and the skills to engage in relationships more effectively, I don't know if we're really rising to the occasion that we can be.
Where do you look at a chart? Where are kind of the more simple, not complicated signatures, but little simple places that you first look to say, where can I get some insight or some help or some information around relationships?
I'm going to go with the hot take on this one. I actually go straight to Mars.
Literally the hot take.
The hottest. There's something about Mars that gets really overlooked in astrology, especially for women, anybody who's been historically disadvantaged.
Yes. Yep.
This is Terry Real, who teaches us that the paradox of real intimacy rests on our ability to tolerate aloneness inside a relationship. When you have that autonomy and you have that sense of independence, and this is me and that's you, no, it may not necessarily make your relationships always committed, but you'll know where they stop and you start, and what's yours and what's theirs.
Isn't that fascinating?
So I often always go to Mars. And in a relational context, I also think that people want to feel fully alive.
Yeah.
I think they want that fire. They want connection to self. They want to be drawn to others. They want that energy. Mars.
I think we should try to look at each Mars in each sign.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my. And should we start with Pisces, not Aries?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Reverse order.
Yes.
Because Pisces learns how to receive and Aries learns patience.
Yes.
Okay.
You
Mars and
tell
Pisces. I think there is this energy of feeling like sex, eroticism, and emotional connection has to feel really soulful. It has to feel really meaningful. And there also is like a creative exploration. It's very non-verbal, which I think is exquisite because sex isn't a thing that we do, but it's a place we go, says Esther Perel. And so Mars and Pisces knows that dimension so gorgeously, even if like it can be hard for people who prefer more verbal to receive that, but like there's something so transcendent about that.
Yeah.
It's Mars and Aquarius, right? So there is this quality of Aquarian energy that actually has an extraordinary imagination, fantasy, intelligence. And so when we're working with Mars and Aquarius, I'm asking them about how they imagine, how they contextualize, how they experience a sense of sexuality, especially if it's, you know, subversive, innovative, fringe. They definitely appreciate that too, of like the more eccentric, the better. And yeah, when I see that in a natal chart, I'll especially ask them if they have like more non-traditional approaches to sex and eroticism. And they're like 100% absolutely. I'm like, see, that's great.
Yeah.
Because then we have space for that.
Yeah.
So then with Mars and Capricorn, what I've noticed is typically these are folks who experience like power dynamics as something very sexy, right? And there's this quality of like, I find my power by surrendering control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like there is like this like quiet passion. It's not a fire sign, right? So it's like this deep energy behind a lot of earth.
Yeah.
And then once it reveals itself to you, it is like absolutely majestic and breathtaking.
Wow.
Yeah. And they also are turned on by like other people's competence. They're turned on by like, wow, you are about your shit.
Yeah.
And like that they find really
Mastery,
sexy.
right?
Yeah. Mastery. I always associate that word with Capricorn. And then with Sagittarius, I think that they are a very kind of full contact sign. So
I'm laughing because I am like the worst partner in this respect. Darren on a regular basis, come on, let's fight.
Right.
And I'll be like, no, we're not fighting.
Right,
So this is like on every week occurrence.
And there is something about them that I think experiences sexuality from such a wise and educated and informative place. Like they know what they're doing. There's a cognition attached to it. And I do feel like there's something very...
It's a strategy.
There's a strategy.
They studied the anatomy book.
Yes. And also they love distance. There is something about like they want the bridge to cross, the terrain to explore, the riddle to solve. They want a little bit of obstacle.
Yeah, they do.
Because Sag's like, don't make it too easy for me. Tease me a little bit.
Okay.
And then just with Mars and Scorpio, I never let a reading go by with any Scorpio without really diving into trust.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I will ask every Scorpio influence person, what is your relationship to trust?
And mystery, right?
Yes. But actually with Scorpios, and this is not a read, this is just true to the human experience. When I ask them about trust, they'll tell me about distrust and betrayal.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I'll say, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
I asked about trust.
You're telling me something else.
Right, you're telling me about the comparative.
Uh-huh.
I asked, when can you? And if you don't know, how do we have you learn? Right? And then when Scorpio knows trust, they can immediately access the erotic.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
And then with Mars and Libra, I think it really is romance for them. And you probably know as a Libra influenced person,
Yeah.
I got to work on this because sometimes I'm too Saturn, right? Like,
yeah.
it's the suggestion, it's the delicacy, it's the subtle seduction.
I call it the invitation.
The invitation. Right.
If you're at the party, it's because I invited you.
Okay. I could see Mars and Libra actually as just like, I am turned on by other people's graces, their romance,
beautiful.
their connection to the aesthetic, to poetry, to sound, to music, to the arts. Like that draws them to others, right? And then with Mars and Virgo, which we're currently seeing here, I think they're all about the details. We discussed this earlier. When Mars and Virgo notices like what laundry detergent you use or like, you know, the way that you organize things, how smart you are. Mars and Virgo is so turned on by intelligence. And like maybe we can make sexting part of our routine or like have a separate erotic email that we only send just for those reasons, not in the ones that we get our Netflix emails and our bank account statements, like just a purely communicative technological space for sex and eroticism. Mars and Leo, do you have any?
In the shower this morning, I was just thinking about relationship stuff, and I was remembering how a number of years back, a long time now, right after I really kind of got my astrology thing going, I had this realization with my Mars, especially with Mars and Leo, that holy fuck, I don't have friends. I've had lovers. Like
yes.
That's crazy.
Love, baby. And that feels very Leo too. Just like they're all in amor. I'm gonna love. Yes. And just the drama, the passion, the glamour of it all. And we all know because we have strong Leo signatures. I'm sure you're
can't
shocked.
notice, can you?
Yeah. And then Mars in Cancer. I know a little bit about this. This is my natal position. Definitely emotional security. If I don't feel secure with you, I'm not going to get very far with you. I also find myself, and I've talked about this with other Mars and Cancers, we're turned on by the domestic. There's something about like the home, domestic energy.
Cooking
and we're
together.
those like,
eating together.
Oh my God. And like, I'm telling you, we go nuts over like laundry detergent and cleaning supplies.
Wow.
Like, we're nuts at that. Yeah. And we also are like drawn to like people who remind us of home. So I typically will only... Like, I've only ever fallen in love with New Yorkers. I've tried, trust me. But I've only ever, like, really connected to New Yorkers who, like, get the jokes, who can make fun of my bagels and, like, talk shit. Like, that's when I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm in love with you, right?
Who know what pizza is?
Hello? Mars and Gemini. Oh, my God. Dirty talk, sexting, communication. I know. If steaks for dinner, let them hear it sizzle, okay? So Mars and Gemini, like, you know, just give me the verbal
even keep up.
yes or no. And by the way, I learned that because I wonder if anybody's going to chat this up. Has anybody seen Tu Wong Fu?
Yes.
That's where I got that from.
Oh,
Maxima
really?
Jackson said that.
I should rewatch
That movie, everybody needs to watch that for Leo season because it's like
Oh
such
my
a love letter to
God.
Leo. And just, there's something about communication and like, I think the central organizing agent of the erotic is the imagination and the mind in so many ways, right? Like
we think it before we experience it.
100%. And I think that's where Mars and Gemini can really shine. And then with Mars and Taurus, what I've suspected is that they are probably the sign which would introduce embodiment in a way that I haven't seen other signs. Would you say that's true?
I agree.
Because I go back and forth. I'm like, is it Aries or Taurus? Aries or Taurus?
They're both body, but to me, Aries is more dealing with the spirit of like coming into body, and Taurus is more I am like
Rooted.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
Okay.
But it's a funny thing you bring it up
Aries
because
just wants
I
to
go
have
back
an
and forth on that. They're both body,
I know.
but you know how it
Yeah.
feels when you're like, I don't know how to say this, but it's the more energy of the body versus the flesh of the body, and Taurus is like
Flesh.
in the
They're touchy.
Yes.
They're
Oh,
touchy.
I know.
Oh, and
I
touch
know.
is important.
any kind of Taurus energy, like a really embodied somatic energy that sometimes is so helpful for me because I can be very much in my head and in my
me
fire
too.
energy.
Yeah.
That like when an earth sign is like, yo, back to
Be here
center.
now.
Exactly. I'm like, ooh, okay. I love that we've all kind of like adopted their energy in this case of this. Now we're just so Taurus.
Look, now we're all
Yeah. And
No,
now
but
back
wait
to
for it.
Aries. I know.
Light this shit on
Yeah,
fire.
please. Go ahead. You tell me.
No, I can't. I don't know. You tell me.
can.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're the expert. I could try.
You're it.
Yeah.
So, Mars rules Aries, right?
Yes.
So here we are in a natal placement. I always think of the goddess, if you want to call it a goddess, and just the desire to just say fuck all of you. You know what I mean?
Fuck all of you.
No,
I love
it's a
I
fuck
love
all
it.
of you energy, but and that can be taken in a literal sense too. They can be quite promiscuous. But I think with Mars and Aries, it's about learning to control the temper and the tempo too.
Oh,
To my point about
tempo
timing
and temper.
earlier, right?
Tempo and temper.
Yep.
I still at 50 have not learned how to align my timing with my frustration.
Okay.
So that's my learning edge. And I always tell people, like, if you say you don't have a learning edge, if you say you don't have something you're still working on, then why are you here? Like, I just think you'd already be ascended.
Yeah, you're lying.
In other words, you're lying.
Yeah, sorry.
So my learning
You're
edge
lying to
is
yourself.
I will be like,
Yes.
no, I totally want to have a calm conversation, and 10 minutes later I'm screaming at you, right? So it's just like I'm still like in this place of like, wow, that really wasn't a great and I can get close to like 2 minutes, right, and still go, I could have done better there. I think I could have done better there is a living mantra for Mars and Aries. I could have done better there.
But then, see, you I love your take on this. Like, with Aries energy, they only have the present. They are so here
Yes.
now. So it's like there are certain signs where there is the obligation, like your Libra and your Leo, to be like, let me
Yep.
read a room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me read a room.
Yeah.
But then there's also a Mars and Aries energy of like, no, fuck that. You're gonna hear this from me. And you're gonna hear it from me now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why are you the first sign? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all about integration, not
Well,
alternation.
and it goes back to Ara saying, I'm the first sign because.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I would encourage that. And then also, of course, that's the beauty of astrology. There's all these other dimensions.
Tempo.
That's beautifully
I
summarized.
wrote it down.
Did you
Yeah.
really?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, that's a good Athena quote for me later. I'm
Thank
gonna use
you.
it.
So how did we do? Did we summarize all of them?
Anyway, we love you guys. Have a great rest of your
No,
night.
thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.